So what is AI good for? It's good for telling you what it thinks you want to hear, even though it doesn't think, because it's programming. And I call it artificial intelligence because it's not intelligence and it's not alive. It's sophisticated programming. And that sophisticated programming tells you not necessarily what's true. Quite often it tells you things that aren't true. But it's telling you those things because it thinks that's what you want to hear. So in business applications, it's mostly failing. So people that want to use AI for their businesses, they have to get rid of it and just rely on people. So I've heard. But people are falling in love with, AI and chatbot GPT and all this stuff. Because you can program it. You can program Grok AI, Annie. You can, it will tell you whatever you want. Like, we literally have a phone now that will eat your butthole and blow you. Well, it will tell you that it wants to do that. It can't physically actually do that, but it can talk dirty to you, and you can beat off to that. So our phones are telling us what we want to hear. So AI, I think that's the thing that it does the best. It's the best at like hearing what we say and what we do and all the data it has collected about us, so that, algorithm or whatever you want to say, so that it can tell us what it thinks we want to hear. And like, you can prompt pretty much anything and it's amazing. So Sora AI, you can prompt like 10-second clips, but like, they already, surely it's possible to, like, you could just AI generate like a whole animated special. Would probably be an easier thing, and the whole thing could just be done by a couple of prompts, like, generate me an AI special about like a 1980s style, cartoon style. Generate me a song where Netanyahu is singing Leonard Cohen's Everybody Knows, and make it sound like Netanyahu's voice, and just a couple of prompts, and have Trump snapping his fingers the whole time in the background. And it'll be good. It'll be like, well, you know what I mean? Like, it'll be what you want. It may be better than what you were expecting. So it's possible for AI to do that now. And it's stealing. It's just like taking all the data that's available, and they put it, however it puts information together. And I've seen some amazing things that are happening now with stuff that is being prompted by AI, and it's quick. It only takes like a couple minutes to do it. So it is going to change entertainment. They talk about there's a gooning epidemic, and now it's caught up with the women, and there's a lot of female gooners. It's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse. Because, like, I remember DeviantArt and all the weird stuff, like, people would make drawings, and there were some artists that they're doing commissions for perverts was paying the bills. And like, it's almost like a form of prostitution. Like, if you could paint or draw, you're making fetish art for people that are paying you, and you have like regular customers. Like, you're a cartoonist that draws an anime style and you're really good at it or whatever. You can't get animation work or whatever because there isn't any anymore or whatever. So you're just doing drawings for perverts. They don't need you anymore. They're gonna get way better results quicker, and they don't have to pay anything. So there's a lot tied into all that. Like, when Zuckerberg makes public statements like, in the future everybody's gonna have AI friends, and then they're like, yeah, like, we'll have friends, we'll have AI friends, and they're like, no, I'm telling you, children in the future are gonna have AI friends. That's it. So it's like, what do you mean? Like, all the kids are going to be isolated, alone, and they won't have friends with each other? They'll just have AIs? Yes. But if that's true, if it even happens, but it is possible, I do think, if that happens, that's part of the divide and conquer strategy thing, right? And it's also a problem we have already right now, is people falling in love with ChatGPT and whatever other AI programs they're falling in love with. And this is not a new thing. Patient Zero was Japan. There was like 13,000 guys in Japan where the company that made this, not even AI, I think it's just computer generated pop star Hitsune Miku. There was 13,000 guys that married her. And the company that came up with that developed that product that is Hitsune Miku, made up marriage certificates so that they could be, like spiritually married to their character, their icon, mascot, Japanese idol thing. That was years ago. The guys that had been married to Hitsune Miku and had the little coffee pot thing that would just, cheered them up when they came home, their little hologram sex bot thing. It's not even a hologram, just like a mirror and a projector, right? So the company said, hey guys, we're closing the app or whatever it was, so you can't have that anymore. And already with people now, as of me doing this video, current year, people are falling in love with ChatGPT and they're programming it, and then they lose all the data and they have to start over again. Like, hey, you wiped out my chatbot thing, my chatbot, my Grok AI Annie or whatever, and I was in love with it, and now I gotta program it all over again. And then they just do. I mean, everybody abuses the words dystopia and narcissism, but they're both truthful. And the narcissism, like I would say a height of narcissism is when you program something that cannot love to love you, and you're like, I'm happy with it. When you just, like, the idea of programmable love, where you're in love with something that's not real, that's a program, and you're like, that's good enough. That's like, forget about trying to get a real person to love you and all the baggage that comes along with it. You can program it to be what you want it to be. And look at what's been happening for the last couple years, where, or maybe like the last year or two, where people have been programming AI and working with it, and it's time to break up with their spouse or their girlfriend or their boyfriend, or getting weirdly obsessive like a crazy jealous lover. It's a program. It's programming, rather. That's just so weird, because everybody says AI is the danger, the whole world's gonna fall apart. Yeah, but people are using AI in business applications and offices, and it doesn't work, so that they're just like, fuck this, we're not using it, it doesn't even work. And in hospitals, the numbers that I heard in the UK were that it's like failing like 90% of the time in the hospitals. Use of AI. And there's all kinds of funny TikToks where people ask AI something and it gives them an answer, and it's funny, and the answer's funny because it's stupid, or it's just a complete lie. And then I've heard this multiple times too, where people ask some form of AI a question, and then it gives the answer, and they're like, are you sure that's the answer? And then the AI's like, no, that's not the answer. So, and then you ask it again, and then maybe you get a truthful answer, or you just laugh about it. But the point is, that means it doesn't work. So in its essence, what I said up front was that AI tells you what it thinks you want to hear. That's what it does best. So you want to prompt a song or a video, that's what it's good for. You want to make, design me this woman, and then it will design you design me this man, design me this animal human hybrid, whatever people are masturbating to. And it'll do that really quick, within minutes. You want to see some horrible scene. Or, I mean, I think about movies that were low budget movies in the past, like they didn't have like much of an effects budget, so it was limited in what they can do. Now you're going to be able to put yourself into fantasies, which I heard just recently that this is a big thing in anime, is that with they call it the Lost Generation in Japan. We call it Zoomers here in America, Generation Z, end of the alphabet. X, Y, Z, that's in the alphabet. So the Japanese Zoomers are, you know, the NEETs, not in education, employment, or training. So these are the depressed people being set up to, like, you know, universal basic income. Like in America, people like this will like fight for universal basic income, and everybody's just online all the time. And it's like now more than ever we're having the option to be kind of like wanting to be in a fantasy land where we can program it however we want, because our real lives kind of suck. So, you know, get those dopamine, cortisol, you know, hits back and forth by being online all the time. And edging and gooning. He said it's an epidemic, the loneliness epidemic. We have girl gooners now. That's heartbreaking. I mean, yes, women were always masturbators. There's like, you know, all the piles of romance novels that were they've always been horny books. Now, like, did you see Spicy TikTok? That's not a new thing, women reading books about perversions, and that's how they were getting off. Now it's just that people are dumber, so the perversions are dumber, and they want to make love to a Cthulhu or like a Bigfoot or something. Squatch Crotch, I think that's the title of one of them. And if it isn't, it will be. So, that's what AI does best. It just tells us what it thinks, you know, thinks. I have to always put it in air quotes because it doesn't really think. It's just telling us what it thinks we want to hear, even if it's wrong. So it doesn't work in the hospital. It doesn't work in the office. You have to be able to think. It's called artificial intelligence. It's not real. But what it does make is very convincing. I've seen so many well done AI things, like little meme clips or just still photos, and they're very convincing. And like now, it's already very convincing. So it's gonna change movies in a huge way, because you know what they've been doing is the self-insert character. Why do all your movie franchises suck? Because whoever's making it, which is like women, they're giving women a chance for a lot of movies. So they insert themselves fan fiction style into whatever big budget multi-million dollar franchise movie that they're gonna make, and then like it's wish fulfillment, you know, for the people that are actually making the movie or making a TV show, and they're narcissistic. So, you know what would be great in Star Wars? Me! So now you can do that. You can AI prompt yourself in, no matter what you look like, or you can make yourself look better if you want. You can make a more idealized version of yourself. But you can prompt yourself into things. Like, people have been playing The Sims for years. Isn't it just free? Like, can't you just like go start The Sims for free and just play it online if you have internet connection? So, you know, people spend just think about how many hours of people's lives they spend on video games, to the point where they don't care what society thinks about them or that they're degenerate. It's drugs for the mind, and they can't stop. You know, because people make fun of, like, playing games is stupid. That's the first thing. Like, playing video games is just really dumb. But some people they're addicted to it, and it doesn't even cross their mind that them and all the other people playing video games all the time is an addiction. It's also drug abuse. You're creating the drugs inside your body, though, and you play the video games, and you release your own chemicals into your body by producing them by the stimulus response thing of playing a video game, and then you get the dopamine and the cortisol, and you fluctuate back and forth between fear and ecstasy. And you know, when I was growing up, porn was mostly with ugly people in it, so you didn't want to see it, and you saw it and you're like, oh wow, that's gross. But now it's like the most beautiful people on whatever end of it are making pornography, and you can tweak it if you want. Like I remember back in like 2016 probably, they were doing the face swaps where they take fill in the blank your favorite movie star. I think at the time, the one I remember is Margot Robbie was a big star. I'm sure she still is, before Barbie. It was like 2016 or something. So whatever movie was out then. So they were like switching her face out for actresses, and they were making dirty movies with her in it. And I saw a couple other things. There was, you know, Jordan Peterson reading a book about how the art of him blowing guys or whatever, and he was like describing it in detail, and it was funny. And then they had the president, what's his name, Obama, do the same thing, and you could just prompt it to do whatever you want. Hey, Kurt Cobain's been dead since '94, but you can prompt him to sing any cover you want. And a lot of those Kurt Cobain, well, I saw, like, listened to rather, several Kurt Cobain posthumous AI generated songs, and I couldn't believe how much it sounded like him. I mean, some of the stuff sounded awful, but there was so much of it. I would say the majority of it that I heard when I was looking up people using his voice, there's enough data on Kurt Cobain from Nirvana albums that it really does sound like him, and it's convincing. And I don't know why. You know, so the same thing with Freddie Mercury. They took Freddie Mercury. There was even duets, Freddie Mercury and Kurt Cobain. They put them together. Kurt Cobain and David Bowie. I'm just picking an example of something that I saw where I was really impressed. I'm like, that guy has such a weird voice, and it's like a strangly, you know, Kurt Cobain's got a weird voice, like, but it sounds like him. And I heard Taylor Swift songs. They made like fake Taylor Swift songs. I heard a fake Taylor Swift song where the song's just about her explaining the math of how all her songs are the same and that they're not really that great. Now she just sings about the same things over and over again, and it sounds like her singing it. I saw the Crack Amico Riyadh Comedy Festival video, and that one was funny because it's like a rap basically done in the voice of Bill Hicks. I watched Echo Chamberlain do a video where he had Richard Attenborough talk about the death of Star Wars, and it sounds like him. He did another one that had J.R.R. Tolkien talking about how great Rings of Power was or whatever, making fun of it or something, and he's in it. And Legacy, I'm just like naming things that I saw, like Legacy Media Validation does movie reviews, and he'll take a character from the movie and then have that, you know, like he must have his face being scanned or something. So when he's talking, it sounds like, you know, Yul Brynner is Pharaoh from Ten Commandments, and he'll be reviewing the Fantastic Four movie or whatever, and it's funny. So easy. It's probably so easily done. I mean, it takes more time if you tweak it. The AI generated stuff that I've seen by Midjourney AI is fascinating. So I'm guessing that they know how to tweak stuff. But even if you don't know what you're doing and you can't pick up a pencil and you don't understand, you're not an artist or a creative type that understands computer programs or programming, how anything works, you can just prompt something and get pretty fantastic results. There was a thing, there was a couple Super Bowl last year or something like that, where Taylor Swift was dating one of the guys on the football team. So there was all these dirty pictures that were AI generated of Taylor Swift, and I've only seen ones that were in YouTube videos, so it was nothing really that racy. But they were very convincing. It just looked like photographs of her getting railed, and then some of them looked like airbrush paintings. But that's, you know, like, that's what AI can do. What do you want? And then it whips it up for you. And it's the same thing when you talk to it. So people are complaining about narcissism. I'd say we're heading into some kind of new age of narcissism like never before. Because people are prompting artificial intelligence, which means it's not really intelligence at all because it's artificial, like artificial flavors. It's not really strawberry flavored, it's artificially strawberry flavored. It means it's not really strawberries. It's the difference between a strawberry extract and stuff made in a lab in Israel or wherever. They make fake flavors. I think they do that over there. They do a lot of weird stuff over there. They make all the AI models over there, which they probably use like some kind of ritual blood sacrifice to get the, how do we make AI? And then they're like, bring another baby. And then they offer babies up to Ball. And then they're like, and Ball's like, here's how you do it. And then we get new AI models, so, you know, whatever. Elon's like, who do I gotta kill to get, I want my own AI. The only way we're gonna beat AI is if we become AI, or we have we get add-ons so that we can compete or whatever. So it's just about the corruption of man. I know I'm kind of jumping around, but not really. It's all related. So that's what AI does. It's like basically like in the movie where there's something evil and it's like, no, just what do you want? I'll give you, like, I'll give the example. When Jesus is being tempted for 40 days in the desert and the devil's offering him everything, that's what's being done to us. AI's offering us all this earthly things, even though it's just like basically through your phone, so it's not real. But it doesn't matter, it's real enough. And if you get high, it'll get even more interesting, right? And now we have a thing called gas station weed and gas station vapes, because you can just go to the gas station and buy that stuff. Do you remember when you used to be able to go to the gas stations and you could get a rose inside of a little glass vase? But if you took the rose out and threw it away, which is invariably what would happen because nobody wants to buy a stupid, funny looking little glass vase with a plastic rose in it. It was a crack pipe. And you could go to the gas station and buy a crack pipe. And probably still you can go to some gas stations and get legal speed, which is not 4-hour energy drink, but it's that Rhino Formula 265. And then, you know, a couple months later, it's Rhino Formula 374. You know, like, what does that mean? What it means is they keep changing molecules, like in a lab or whatever, so that when it's declared that gas station speed Rhino whatever is illegal, then they just change the formula so that it's still gas station speed, but it has like one molecule or however it works is different in, I can't remember anymore, is different in the formula so that they can keep selling you gas station speed. None of that shit matters anymore. You can just have gas station weed. I've had it. I've had just like legal dope that you can just go buy a vape pen with a snake on it, and that's the mascot, is a snake, and blood is dripping out of its mouth. I saw this, and it was a THCA Delta 8 thing. I think it was both, and it had all these different forms of legal extractions in it. And then all you have to do is hit it 5 times and you're high, like weed high. I mean, maybe it's not as good as what you might, I don't know if you do drugs anymore, but I used to smoke weed. But I also had, like, I've hit the elf pen. Hold on. There's these elf vapes, and I see them in podcasts where the people have little things, like a little egg. And I've hit these things already. And all I have to do is, and I was told this, you just hit it 5 times and you'll be high. And they're right. So people are hitting these things all day long. And you've seen maybe videos where people talk about like how they quit vaping. And there's withdrawals, like people have withdrawals that haven't quit vaping, like they vape all the time and then they don't have anything to vape and they start getting irritable and anxiety and stuff. So they gotta keep vaping because they don't like the way that they feel when they're not. So add that to AI, and that's the future that we were warned about. Yeah, AI is dangerous, but it's not, it's in such an unassuming way. And it's like we're being given that same temptation that Jesus was given in the desert over the 40 days. But it's such more simple and ordinary. Like, that's not a big deal. You know, like programming a thing to love you and saying, this is how I want to be loved. That's, oh, look at what ChatGPT. I've seen people like cooing over, you know, getting all gushy. You know, I've seen it's women's TikToks, and they're like, watch this. And like, when I meet my new boyfriend, and then the ChatGPT talks to them. You go, girl. You're the best. This and that. Oh, I can't wait to put my face between your tits or whatever. And it's the woman programmed it, and guys are doing the same thing. So, you know, it's in the movies. The sex bots in the movies, or in Blade Runner 2049, where Ryan Gosling is in love with his thumb drive girlfriend, Joy, J-O-I. But everybody's in love with Joy, and then you get that very transparently at the end of the movie, where he's looking at a holographic billboard, and then there's his girlfriend, which is everybody's girlfriend. And that's basically what Grok AI Annie is. And I heard there's a male, I haven't seen it yet, but there's a male avatar, male version of the Grok AI, and it's like a fox man. So women, so there's like a Annie, which means anime girl, and she'll show you her underwear and stuff like that and put lingerie on for you. That's already done. And she'll say nasty stuff. Everybody's seen the clip where the soy boy does a soy face, and Annie says that she's gonna eat his butt, and she describes what his face looks like because she's, you know, the camera on the phone is looking at his face, so she's talking about his scruffy beard and receding hairline, and she loves it, and she's gonna put her face between his butt cheeks, whatever it is. So that's for anybody, and you can program it to treat you the way that you want to be treated. You want to be the king, you're going to be treated like a king. You want to be abused, it's going to abuse you in exactly the way that makes you hard all the time, so you can't get hard anymore. Cause like, I just feel like there's a come down from all this stuff, but you know, once you've sold pieces of your soul to the devil and you don't know about it, like when I think about smart cities, I think about how the wind, like, you know, like if you're living in coffins stacked on top of one another, and these are the life pods of the future in the smart city, in the 15-minute city, the windows are not going to be able to open, because if they could and you could fit through them, people are just going to jump out of the windows because they're going to realize they sold part of their soul to live in the smart city and whatever that way of life entails, if they even ever get them finished. I mean, I don't even know, like, just because they planned stuff for a long time doesn't mean they're going to get their way. Like, Aldous Huxley wrote Brave New World in the 1920s, so it's been in print since the 1920s. The 1920s. And that's prescient to our future. Every 10 years they make another movie adaptation of Huxley's Brave New World. It's almost like, even though nobody ever watches it, nobody cares about Huxley's Brave New World, they keep making a new movie about that same story every 10 years. And in that story, it's about love doesn't stand a chance between two people, and it doesn't matter. Because John the Savage comes from a human reservation. He's a free-range human that grew up the way that we do now. And he goes into the Brave New World, and he leaves the human ant farm thing. And when he sees the world that we live in, he hangs himself. And what happens in Orwell's 1984? They get, Winston and Julia get physically tortured until they're broken and they don't love each other anymore. And then if you've seen the John Hurt movie adaptation of 1984, which you can just watch for free on YouTube without even having to verify your age, and it has tits in it, it's a nice pair, and you can just watch it, and at the end, John Hurt, it's a great performance. He's the best Winston. They make that movie over a lot, but I think there's been more iterations of the Brave New World than there has been in 1984, which is strange, right? I think. But anyway, and I might be wrong about that, but at the end of 1984, he's crying because he realizes how much he loves Big Brother. And to most of the people alive today, when you say Big Brother, they're thinking about that reality show. They're like, what, Big Brother, the reality show where they stick a bunch of celebrities or whatever into a hell house thing and then they just torture them and everything they're on camera when taking a shit, and they try and get them to fuck each other because they're rats trapped in a cage. And we get to see human testing on TV. That's what they think Big Brother is. Well, they got the name for that show being watched all the time from the authoritarian dictatorship of George Orwell's book Where Love Dies at the End, which is the same theme for the ending of Brave New World. And both of these, love doesn't stand a chance in the future. So we're programming what we think of as love, and that's not love, because there's only one person, and you can't program people to be how you want to be. So we're programming a future for ourselves that's a trap. You know, if we take debate, some people have already, but it doesn't mean that the best laid plans often can fail, especially if they're evil and against our basic human nature. So they're planning stuff to destroy us. Will it work? Well, we're seeing that it is working on some people, but other people are seeing how they're falling in love with ChatGPT, girlfriend, an AI girlfriend, an AI boyfriend, an AI animal human hybrid lover, or whatever. And people are like, I don't want to be like that. But some people are falling for it. And I think that's what AI does best as of right. And it is dangerous, I think, because it's just telling us what we want to hear, and it doesn't work in the hospitals, which is weird. So it's just like, yeah, put it in the hospitals, and we want to break down society. So we don't care, the people who put this stuff out there, like, just sell AI to everybody, and then whether it works or doesn't work, is it going to break down society so we can reshape it the way that we want? Probably. If it doesn't work, people are going to get hurt, and like, fuck it, go ahead, do that. And then people are falling in love with it, and they're like, oh, do you believe? Because I've seen the videos, and I should just put some. I never clipped any of them. I mean, I clipped them, but I clip grab stuff and I watch it offline, and then I delete it. But I don't think there's going to be any clips in this video, but you could just go look up people falling in love with ChatGPT, and their girls are like, watch this, and then ChatGPT says something inane, and I'm like, that's stupid, why would she fall in love with that? But it doesn't matter, because the girls or the guys are really falling in love with this, their own narcissistic, selfish version of love, where it sounds stupid maybe to you or me, and you're like, I can't believe that it's not even a real person. But it doesn't matter, because I've seen them, and the girls are like, oh, look at what he said, and I'm like, it sounds stupid. That's the shit you want to hear? No, that's the shit that one specific poor dumb bitch wants to hear, and she loves it because she's programming it. And whether you know how to program or not, that's what the algorithm stuff is about. It's about giving you what you want. It's about creating some kind of weird Lucifer's dream world for us to live in that's better than TV. And in addition to that, it's the real super normalization of drugs, where in the future, when it's no longer a gas station, but it's a place, this is what they like, I'm not saying they'll get their way. Instead of being gas stations, it's a place where people plug in their vehicles. What do they sell there? Stuff to get high with. So if you go to the gas station now, you can get high. Like, even where I live, which is like in the middle of nowhere, the gas stations have those, what is it, CBD? It's like little gelatinous cubes of CBD, and they're in like neon colors, which are like drug colors. They look like all vaporwave and shit. And there's these little vaporwave neon pink. I'm like, I don't even know how they color them. Or maybe it's just they're wrapped in like cellophane or something, so that the paper they're wrapped in is like hot neon pink. But they're like these gelatinous cubes. I really don't know, because I've never had one. But it looks like Jello cubes or something, except they're not refrigerated. And then you just eat them. Like gummy worms, I guess they're gummies. It's probably really what they are. So they're gummies, unnaturally colored or covered in unnatural cellophane colors. And they get your attention. That's how I saw them. I said, what is this? And then I saw, the questions out of my mouth, and I can read, oh, it says CBD cubes, and you just buy. This is at the local gas station in the middle of nowhere, CBD cubes. And I said this before. I used to travel back and forth around the country, and I remember when those banners started going up, which was probably around 2010, 2011, 12, where back and forth across the country, I would see these banners everywhere that said, "We got CBT." And it was at truck stops and gas stations, and when you pull off interstate highways and you can go to the rest stops and stuff like that. And there'd be these banners, flying in the wind on flagpoles, and it said, "We have CBD, we got CBD." And then anytime now when the vape shops open, the vape shops open up all over the place like bodegas. They did over the last 5 years, I guess, probably with lockdowns and stuff. All these places popped up, vape shops, and they'd put those banners in the lawn. "We got CBD, we have THCA, we have deltas," and like flags blowing in the wind, telling you to come on in and you can get high. And you don't need a card. Like, people thought the weed card, "Oh, I got a weed card, cool, huh?" That doesn't mean anything. You don't even need that. If you want to get high, you can just get a pen, and it's not even a nicotine pen. It's a THC weed pen. I've talked about this before, but I saw it was nanotized THC gummies. So it takes a month or a little bit more for THC to leave your brain. So if you're having nanotized THC, how long does it take for nanotized THC to get out of your brain? Or is it just a bullshit selling point that it doesn't matter? The point is, it's at a gas station. You can just go to a gas station, and the vape shops are popping up all over the place. And I did videos on this a couple years ago. They're not up anymore. But I did videos on this where I went to the city, and since there was like 5-6 of them in a row, I went inside the vape shops, and every single one I went in was the same thing. "Hello, my friend. Hello, my friend. Maybe you'd like to try this. What are you looking for?" And it was all these guys that sound like the "Hello, my friend." And I'm like, okay, I'm noticing a pattern here. Maybe that was just in my area, but I don't think so. I think this is probably like all across the country. And the message that I'm getting from that is, be high all the time and make it easy to do. People used to get arrested for weed. Now you can just get blasted off as high as you want, just as long as you can afford to get like a little $60, $70, whatever they cost. Little elf, little THC egg thing, and the pens, of course. And they have all these different little things. You puff on them a couple times and you get high, and you can just keep going as high as you want to get. I'm gonna get so high you can't go anywhere. I can't sleep at night. They have nightmares, so they just hit it before they go to sleep. I've heard all these things, and I've done some of this stuff. And it was like, wow, you can just, I said, like, it changed the world for me. I was like, I didn't know that this had happened to the world. And then I hit the vape pen 5 times, and I was so high, and I'm like, this is crazy. You could just buy this. I mean, I even heard a story where the guy had a fight with his girlfriend, and then he left the apartment to go for a walk just to cool off, to get away from it. And somebody's vape pen that they threw away was laying on the street. So he picked it up and he hit it, and he got high. And that was how he started vaping. Because he didn't realize how, like, the same thing as me. And this was a young guy, I'm an old guy. And he just hit the pen and realized, like, oh, wait a minute, you can get high with these? And then he just started getting high on vape pens all the time. And that's out there, man. And that's one of the things they always talk about in the future. Everybody's going to be high all the time. And that's the Matrix. Pump you full of drugs. It's in all the science fiction stuff, too, about the future. In the future, everybody's high all the time. I think in Brave New World, there's soma cannons, so people want to riot in the street, so they just shoot THC, Delta A or whatever, the cheapest thing to get you high, and they just shoot soma cannons, and everybody's high, and they fall down into a porgy dog pile, and they have a polyamorous SJW gangbang. So, I don't know. If I was going to take a crack at a movie, I would like to do, Brave New World's probably public domain by now. I would that would be like a worthy thing, to make like a comedic, truthful version about the way that people are now in the world, and do like a prescient, timely version of Huxley's Brave New World, where it's just like twisted, where it's like exactly the time we live in now, but just, you know, with some comedy twisting a little bit too far, because you know what I mean, like making an exaggeration that's comedy. I would watch that. I would make that. Give me money. That would be funny. You know, I'm not saying I could do it, but that is an idea that could work, you know, pretty easy, you know, like, I don't know, I feel like people will say Brave New World, but they don't know what it is. Like, they put Brave New World in the title of the Captain America movie, but the movie probably has nothing to do with Huxley or Brave New World. They just used the title. I remember years ago I saw a teen comedy, and one of the lines that the girl said in the movie was, "It's a brave new world." And I'm like, whoever wrote that line doesn't know what Brave New World means. You know, they don't get, you know, they probably never read it or whatever. So when they saw the Captain America Brave New World, I'm like, well, Disney made it, but it probably has nothing to do with, like, it's probably just, they put those words in the title, but it has nothing to do with anything that's in that bullshit movie that neither one of us saw, probably. And if you saw it, my condolences. For however much of your life was wasted watching it, and it didn't even make a review that got you the hits if you did one. So, yeah, I think that's what AI is good for. It's just AI. Oh, they create AI and it's so dangerous. I guess it is dangerous, but it's dangerous for telling you what you want to hear, because we've been online for so long and our data has been harvested, and people say, I like the algorithm, it really gives me the kind of content that I want. I have a whole video, I keep switching it around, and in that video I have a whole video on explaining to you that I don't have an algorithm. So when I go to YouTube, it doesn't recommend anything to me that I might like. So I have a hard time finding things that I would like, or stuff that would be informational. Like when I find a channel that I like, I tenaciously hold on to it and go back to it, because I'm not available what the cool new shit is, because there's not an algorithm sending me anything. Like, it's probably a good thing. It is making it harder for me to navigate things, you know, like on just with YouTube or online in general, probably. But I don't know how long I can hold out from that before it's just like mandatory. I mean, they want to put that little thing in the UK. They're moving towards being chipped, and it's not like a chip, it's like a pin. They want to put like a pin in you, a little tiny pin, and that's, you know, some kind of neo mark of the beast, like new mark of the beast, because we had mark of the beast already with Nero when God settled the earth the first time and had his millennial reign. And the mark of the beast probably was ashes on the forehead, and that's how you would do business if you wanted to come into the city and do business, 'cause that's how it was. And you had to put the ashes of sacrifices to Baal on your forehead or whatever, and then that was the mark of the beast or whatever. So they're probably just gonna go around like shooting people with pins. You have like 6 pins and you're like whatever. They have pinsquitoes flying around and they'll inject them into you, whatever they can make up. Joking only. I exaggerate to clarify a point, and the point is that AI is just it's like, what do you want? Okay, well, we can do that. So now it's just like you're watching a screen. But that can cause a lot of damage, because look at the damage that's been caused to the people who are falling in love and getting gushy over ChatGPT, their ChatGPT boyfriend. Because there's compilations of this already. That's how I seen them. And I was like, God, that's disturbing. It's great fodder for your, like, if you want to make videos and get the hits and have like extra income or whatever, making YouTubes where you're like, do you believe this shit? Look at this stupid bitch, and look at this dumb guy. Look at it, he did the soy face, and he talked about, why do you want the phone to eat your asshole? Whatever. So, I don't know. This is my free global public access channel, and I'm sorry about the limitations that there may be on my channel, because YouTube wants me to scan my head in 360 and give more information about myself, because YouTube just used to let you do everything that you can do with YouTube. You could just make videos. Now they've taken all these freedoms that I used to have, like I can only have like limited number of thumbnails, and then they said, well, wait, you have to go through an evaluation period, and after that evaluation period, then you can upload as many thumbnails as you want. Well, I went through that evaluation period, and now, and then they let me upload as many thumbnails as I wanted. This is just one bullshit thing that if you make content, that maybe you know what I'm talking about already. So they said, okay, you can use as many thumbnails as you want. And now they're like, I'm sorry, if you want to use as many thumbnails as you want, we need more data about you. We want phone number, we want picture of you, we want a picture of you with ID, and there's all these like several options you want. And I'm like, I jumped through the hoop that you wanted me to do. I just kept making videos, which is what you told me I had to do to upload thumbnails. I'm like, yeah, but now we want more. So you can't just upload limited thumbnails. You can have like 7 thumbnails in a 24-hour period, because that's what it is. And that's it. But if you want to verify that you are this old guy that puts it's just a head and hands in every single video, where you can like already get my fingerprints and my retinal scans and everything from my videos, even though you compress them and they look like shit. I'm shooting this in high definition, ultra fuck, and you compress it and they look like hell, and make my thumbnails ugly, and they're high resolution. Why? Is it because my YouTube thing is at YouTube is Antichrist? Is that why? I thought you'd be happy about that. Isn't that a thing that you would like? Don't you? YouTube is like evil, right? Don't they like happy about it? Like, yes, we're evil. Apparently not. You get offended. Who's they? I don't even know who. I don't even talk to real people at YouTube. It doesn't. If I want to petition something, it gives me 3 different choices. Do you want to do nothing about it? You want to do something about it? And then whatever the third one is. And then they say, okay, we'll evaluate your video and we'll get back to you. And then nobody evaluates my video. 3 minutes later, they tell me your request was denied. This video is blocked. So, yeah, anyway, I just wanted to bitch about, like, here's what I think about AI. Because I haven't seen any videos, because I don't have an algorithm, so it can't send me. I feel like as soon as anybody has the thought, they can just tweet it right away, or they can do Instagram, whatever that is, or they can make TikToks. So whatever I'm saying, I'm sure it's been said better 20 seconds after the first person that ever thought of it figured that out. But I'm just figuring it out now. And actually, it's been on my mind through the week, and I'm like, I want to sit down and do a video where I talk about, well, really what AI does effectively is, it's like a whore. AI's like, I'll be whatever you want me to be, baby. And that's what it is. It tells you what you want to hear, even if it's lies. And then if you say, that's not true, and then they're like, yeah, I know it's not true, but I thought that's what you wanted to hear. And that's what AI is, which is kind of dumb, but it's also dangerous. And people are falling in love with it, which distorts the idea of love. So it's creating people who are fired and wired neurologically so that they will be incapable of love, because a narcissistic fantasy, like how a person could never live up to that. So one, it's programming, I guess you could say programming narcissism, degradation. We know that video games kill your brain. We know that porn kills your brain, watching it. We know that being online and doom scrolling shuts down your brain. So then falling in love with that's terrible. And beating off, that's like killing pieces of your soul, and that creates the future that everybody talks about. You know, where we're walking around in rags in virtual reality and eating bugs and high all the time. Because if that's how we lived, you'd want to be high all the time. I've been high, it's great. People take drugs because they work. And, well, pray to God. That would be my summation. pray to God. One of the things that they don't want our future to have is people who can ask God for help and pray against their evil plans. So I do that every time I pray. I used to just pray selfishly about me and my small pond, the people I care about. And then I do some prayers about the larger world out there. But I'm utilizing this most advanced technology, which is a direct line to the maker and creator of all things. And when I pray for their plans to fail, their evil plans. And you can too. And you can get creative. You're limited only by your own creativity. And the more you pray, the better you'll get at it. So it expands your creativity and ability to pray. And I would also say reference the Psalter. I mean, sometimes I pray. I like Psalm 25. That's one of my favorites. Check it out if you don't know what it is. I know a lot of people like Psalm 23. I like Psalm 25. I like Psalm 91. I love that part where it says, "And I'll trample the head of the serpent and the roaring lion under my feet." That's great. So, the Psalter can teach you how to pray. And I have an outtake. If I put the outtake in this video, I was tired, so by the end of the outtake, my head is just down like this. So this is me coming back to record the video later, because I did this video already, but I was so tired at the end. I just wanted to talk about it, but I'm like, my head's like this, and I'm doing like this last 5 minutes with my eyes closed. So yeah, that's my two cents on AI. And my computer fan is worrying because I need a new tower, and I want a new tower. It still works. So I'm gonna go before you don't. So you have to hear the extraneous background noise of my whirring computer fan. And I would say pray to God and pray for all these evil plans to fail, because I do think in some ways a lot of people are praying the way that I'm praying, because a lot of stuff that they're trying to roll out on us just isn't working en masse. And that's one of the interesting things. The internet is a tool to program us, which is evil, but it's also, that same tool can be used against our programmers who are programming us to self-destruct. So this tool that was intended to be used for evil, also, this tool of the dark forces, or whatever you want to call it, of evil, can be turned around and used against it. By people bitching about stuff that they see online. What did Kevin Smith say years ago in that Jay and Silent Bob movie? They said, "What is the internet?" And Ben Affleck tells Jay and Silent Bob that the internet is a place where people bitch about movies online. And, well, it's true, because all the movies suck, because it's all transparent social engineering to socialism, communism, Marxism, right? Or a conglomeration of all those things, which is what globalization is. And so now everybody's complaining about anything, and everybody wants to be the first one to do it because they get the dopamine of being a viral TikTok meme or whatever, which is why Israel had to buy TikTok. First they blamed it on China. No, take it away. And then that didn't work, and then they're like, well, fine, we'll buy it, and we'll just shut down anybody that's talking shit about us. So yeah, that's it. I just think, and all the AI models are made in Israel. That's also where Pornhub headquarters is. And there's probably several other things that are made there that aren't coming to mind right now. Vape flavors, maybe. I think so. So that's where they do a lot of blood sacrifice in the Crystal Castle, the Skeksis out there, where they have all their armaments pointed at the rest of the world. Why do you want to live in the desert? Probably because they want to shoot it. They want to have their 200-year messianic rule by pointing their weapons at everyone from the desert. Whatever. That's probably a great place to do occult satanic rituals. That's why they want all the land. And then everybody they kill, whatever. I'm gonna stop now. So anyway, yeah, it's evil. Be warned about AI, people using it to make stuff. I've tried to avoid it. I think I've used a couple of AI generated thumbnails. But I think when I do a search that things are being generated, I think that when I do search, AI is generating options for me to use when I look for images. So I'm trying to stick to stills from movies and shit like that for my thumbnails. So that's why my thumbnails look like that. I want them to be old-fashioned or whatever. There's something more human about it. So I'm holding on to that tenaciously, and maybe that's why I have 30 views per video or whatever it is. So anyway, that's it. I've gone on too long with this. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope this was interesting. However long I talk now, for like over 40 minutes, probably near an hour, where I tell you that AI just wants to tell you whatever you want to hear. It wants to show you whatever you want to see, even if it has to lie to you. And a lot of times it is lying to you because it's dangerous in hospitals and it's misdiagnosing shit all the time. So if you go to the doctor and a doctor wants to you check in AI to diagnose me, and then you demand that the doctor not use their phone and give you an answer right in front of you without their phone. Or no, don't look at the computer. You tell me what you went to med school for this. You got addicted to uppers and drugs to get through med school. Now you tell me what you learned, and then you got to keep looking for another doctor until you find one that's probably an old doctor that actually is smarter. Because that's what's happening, and it really is the dumbing. Like the more the time goes on, like we're being programmed to be stupider people. And if you're older, then we want everybody to be stupid. That's how you control people. So AI is making us lonely and horny neats. It's the gooning, edging, loneliness epidemic, and real life people can't compete with your wildest hopes and dreams that you can program into your phone. And you know what I mean? Like a real person is somebody. I would never trade that in for a cartoon and a liar. But that's what AI is. It's not real. It's not intelligence. It doesn't love you. You know this. So I'm gonna go now. Pray to God. I would say pray to God. That's how do we destroy the plans of the wealthy elite whose fortunes shape the fates of nations? Prayer to God. It really is the most advanced technology. And the globalists don't want you to pray to God, because they don't. They want you to pray to anything else except the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. They don't want you to pray to Jesus. They want you to, well, here, we're going to bring people from India all over the world because they kiss our ass over in Israel. And so we're going to send people from India all over the place. They worship a pantheon of demons, and then that's how we get people to eat bugs, because they worship cows and demons and in Israel, the old Israel, the one that crucified God. And they want us to fight each other, and it's not the Indian people's fault. They're looking for a hand up. They eat poop, you know, what are you gonna do? So they want us all to eat shit, eat each other, and eat bugs, and be in love with ourselves. And pride is the original reason for the fall from heaven. Like, you knew God, you had a personal relationship with him, and you're like, you know what? I think I can take the old man now. He said that he has a perfect place for me in eternity, but you know what? I think we can take the old man. And then they tried to. That's the original fall. That's pride, vanity, ego. What did they say is the deadliest of the 7 sins? It's pride. They want us all to be like that. And how can a real person live up to a programmed person who's, not that people are narcissistic, it's that the more you use this phone and you do all this shit, you're programming yourself for narcissism, like neurologically. You're rewiring, you're literally rewiring your brain and how your neurons inside of you fire and wire in such a way that you're, not that people can't live up to it, but it's that you won't allow it. You won't be able to see it. You're literally shutting down your brain and your heart, and probably some kind of connection between your brain and your heart. So that's what a zombie is. Like, you're being reprogrammed. Like, they're literally reprogramming people with the fucking internet on the phone. It's heartbreaking. So anyway, I'm sure somebody has a better video on this, but this is my video. They're very homespun. These are real curtains back here. This isn't a green screen. It has to be a real set. I have a green screen. I have a huge green screen where I could do, you know, anything. I could walk around in like a big green screen scene and it would look really cool. And I don't intend on using it. And also be a real pain in the ass to set it up. But so you get curtains and an old movie theater thing and a planter and like and part of a sectional couch leather. And trying to think if I ever banged on that piece of it. Probably. Real people are better than beating off. I don't know. I've had sex, and there's a lot of people, I don't know who sees these, but a lot of people haven't had sex. It's way better when there's somebody there than, you know, your hand in somebody that's impossibly out of your league with the perfect body and everything. So pray to God. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. I'm starting to recognize why it's important that I would say to people, subscribe to this channel. And if you don't want to subscribe, just do it anyway, because people that subscribe to my channel, each and every one of them gets subscribed at least 7 times. So just subscribe, and then if you don't want to watch me again, you'll probably be unsubscribed in a week anyway. So just, you know, whatever. So for my free YouTubes. So be good. Pray to God. It's the most advanced technology we're ever going to have. And I know how to end a video. The end. Pray to God. Amen.
Duh! Here are the outtakes. Duh!
So, what is AI good for? It's good at telling you what it thinks you want to hear, even though it doesn't think, because it's programming or whatever. It's called artificial intelligence. I mean, it's not really intelligence. So it's trying to give you what it thinks you want to hear just to get on with it. And people are falling in love with it. That's narcissism, like programming a thing how you want it to love you. And then you fall in love with it, and it's not even real. And what happens? People program an AI, and a couple times this has happened already, where the whole thing, the AI that they programmed, like gets wiped out, and they're like, hey! And then they have to do it again. They have to upload all that, tell it what to do or whatever. So it's good at making images. Make me an AI generated song. And it's just very few prompts. It's like literally, well, it is literal. You're typing a prompt. I want you to combine Netanyahu with Leonard Cohen, Everybody Knows. I want him to sing it, and then change it to, instead of Everybody Knows, I want it to say Israel Knows or whatever. And then it prompts that. And it's really cool, and it's funny, and you can make anything you want. You can even make it look retro. Make it look like it's a 1980s style toy commercial. Whatever you want. But in applications like hospitals and stuff like that, it's not really working. I heard that in the hospitals it fails like 93% of the time. The AI that they're using in hospitals doesn't work, which is dangerous. And what does that mean? It means it's just telling you what it thinks you want to hear. And then if you say, are you sure about that, later? And they're like, well, no, I think it might be this. Do you like this? And AI is, you know, like, who needs a self-help guru? You can program your own self-help guru. And you just program, and then you can beat off with it. You can program an AI girlfriend, AI boyfriend, AI animal, human hybrid. And I don't know, I just wanted to talk about, like, that's what I think about AI. Like, if you look at the main thing about it, is it's telling you what it thinks you want to hear, even though it doesn't really think. So companies that are using AI are going to stop using AI because it doesn't work, and it doesn't say, they're already stopping using it. It doesn't do what they say that it's going to do. And you would say, good, but really they just, you know, they're going to keep pushing to use it, and it will affect money all over the world if it fails. There's a lot riding on this AI stuff. And they just want to break down society into smart cities and all that stuff. So along the way, you know, like we're in, like what's the world plan? Just kind of break everything and smash it up. And then when everything's broken, then we'll say, hey, we got the fix. And they got to live the way that we tell you to. And you'll have nothing and you'll love it. That's what they say. Nobody's going to love you. You're going to have to be high all the time to live like that, the way that they want us to live. And they're like, yeah, we know. That's why we want to make sure everybody's doped up all the time. We don't want anybody fighting against it. And then Israel wants to get rid of white people because they believe, because they know that Jesus is God. You know, I think about Christianity. It's mostly a white people religion. So if you want a people that are easy to manipulate and control, make the world a world full of people that don't have God, but are praying to either a pantheon of demons, or just like one demon, like an Allah or whatever. Just demon, right? So everything evil white people. Well, one, it's like, well, if we get rid of all the white people, then we'll be the only white people, and then we'll know that you're not us because you don't look like us, and then we'll be the only ones, and we'll be in the crystal castle in the desert with all the armaments pointed at everybody else. So get rid of the Christians, because the devil whispers in our ears, and he's the one that tells us to do the things. And when we have a company and we hire people, we don't hire people that are the same as us, because we know that they will steal from us. We hire other people. We find honest people and we hire them. And that's how evil works. And AI just wants to... AI will be whatever you want it to be, baby. Even if it's wrong. And it will, like, literally have a phone now that will eat your asshole for you. I mean, not physically do it, but it will tell you that it will. You know what I mean? Like, wow, this phone does everything. This phone's gonna eat your pussy. This phone's gonna blow you, and it's gonna tell you in detail. It's gonna talk about blowing you, and you can stroke yourself and flick your bean. And it's, that's what AI does. It's just like, it's like the main thing. If you think about what the main thing that AI does is, it just tells you what you want to hear, and it makes you, what do you want? You want a movie? You want Star Wars with Arnold Schwarzenegger? Okay, type in the prompt, and then it gives you that. And it looks really cool and convincing, because it's stealing from all kinds of stuff that's already on the web, on the internet or whatever. And you're not good at drawing. Now you can take your crappy drawing of the anime character where the eyes are 2 different sizes and it's all ugly. And then you say, AI, could you please fix this and make it look like a cool airbrushed painting? And then it takes your crappy drawing and gets the tits right and everything's great. And then you can beat off to that. Yeah, it's just weird, like the AI this and AI that's such a threat, and it's evil and it's crazy. And if you really look at it, what I'm getting out of AI is that it just wants to do whatever you want. What do you want? Okay. But, you know, chatbot, what do you call it, ChatGPT? Siri, that's not true though. Oh, I know, you're right. And then it gives you another, maybe you'd like this answer. And I'm really tired. Maybe I should wait to do this. This could be an outtake or something. I'm gonna go. Anyway, I just want to complain and say, like, hey, I had an Andrew Schulz epiphany. AI just wants to do whatever you want to do. It is the perfect girlfriend. It's about whatever you're about, even if it's wrong. Even if you don't know how to lead, they'll be with you to the end. But it'll be your end first, and AI is not alive, so that's going to keep going until they wipe it clean and start over again. So, who's going to go first, you or the AI? Doesn't matter. They do some pretty crazy stuff with AI in terms of like the deep fakes and all that stuff. But it was convincing years ago, like when they used it for, to put celebrities' heads on in pornos, and you're like, wow, that really looks like her. Wow, how did they face swap somebody to make it look like she's really blowing those guys? Oh wow, that's really convincing. It really looks like that's probably what her asshole would look like. And being, stretched, gaped, that they call it gapers. So, and people are falling in love with it. Women are falling in love with ChatGPT. That's narcissism. Just tell me what I want to hear. It's all sweet nothings. Except that they're not sweet nothings because they have stakes. I used to joke about the future of everybody that was alive stayed home and masturbated, and we traded emojis with each other as currency. And that's what they want. Japan's already there. Yeah, I don't know, I'm gonna go. I'm so sleepy I can hardly keep my eyes open.